Hello, I'm Julia Donaldson and thanks for joining me for today's story. I must say I'm really pleased to be telling a story because it's quite a while since I've done any of these broadcasts, and I know that some of you are back at school now and I hope you're really enjoying that. Well, today's story is a brand new one, so I'm very excited about that, and it's called The Hospital Dog. You can see the dog on the cover of the picture. She's called Dot, and she's very clever, very brave actually, and she visits children who are ill in hospital to cheer them up. It's got really good pictures by an artist called Sara Ogilvie. Some of you may know that Sara also did the pictures for this book, The Detective Dog, and later on you're going to see Sara doing some drawing. But first of all, I'm going to tell you the story of The Hospital Dog. Here is a dog, a Dalmatian called Dot. Is she quite ordinary? No, she's not. Here is Dot's owner, a lady called Rose, with rings on her fingers and specs on her nose. After their breakfast of porridge and tea, Rose and her dog always swim in the sea. Then they hop onto bus number 78 and the bus drops them off at the hospital gate. Here are the children in Wallaby Ward, most of them happy, but some of them bored. A girl's feeling shy and a baby is howling. A toddler's cross and a teenager's scowling. A visitor's jumping about like a frog. But look who's arrived. It's the hospital dog. Bee's feeling nervous. Today's her first day. She wonders how long she'll be going to stay. There's a tear in her eye and an ache in her head. But look who's appeared on the chair by her bed. A pat and a stroke and a cuddle with Dot. Is Bee feeling scared still? No, she's not. Gus, who is older than all of the others, would rather be out playing ball with his brothers. He's read all his books and he's tired of TV. But here is a dog he's delighted to see. A pat and a stroke and a cuddle with Dot. Is Gus feeling bored still? No, he's not. Here's baby Katie. She's hot. And what's more, she's covered in spots and her tummy is sore. It seems that she'll never stop crying. Ooh! Till Dot lifts a paw to say, "How do you do?" A pat and a stroke and a cuddle with Dot. Is Katie still crying? No, she's not. Dot gets a hat and makes friends with a bear. She plays with a ball and she rides in a chair. She calms down a doctor. She cheers up a mummy. She lets little Tyler play Tickle Dot's tummy. Here is a boy who is deaf. He's called Joe. Rose helps her dog make the sign for hello. Joe's going home now. His cough is much better. His mum packs his toothbrush and Dot packs his sweater. Dot's going home too. The ward round is done. She's sorry to leave, but the lift ride is fun. Off to the bus stop go 5 pairs of feet. Then Joe sees a friend and steps into the street. Here comes a car, but he can't hear it come. Rose isn't watching, and nor is Joe's mum. Dot rushes out and she pushes Joe back, but the car hits her leg with a sudden loud smack. A trip to the vet and an X-ray for Dot. Is Dot feeling happy? No, she's not. The vet says, "Don't worry, it's not a disaster. The leg will be fine after 6 weeks in plaster. 6 weeks to wait. That's a very long time. Dot has a limp and she can't jump or climb. No swimming, no bus rides. Dot's feeling bored. But here come the children from Wallaby Ward. Joe, Bea and Katie, Tyler and Gus. We're visiting you like you visited us. A pat and a stroke and a biscuit for Dot. Is she enjoying it? Yes, a lot. I hope you enjoyed that story. I got the idea for it when my husband Malcolm and I did a show in a children's hospital, and I noticed that on the notice board there was a picture of a dog, and I read that this dog visited the children in the hospital. So I thought, well, that would make a really good story. And so I tracked down the dog, and I found out actually the dog and the dog's owner lived quite near me, so I went to visit them, and then I did a ward round. I actually went back to the hospital with the dog and her owner to see what went on, to get ideas for the book. Well, the real hospital dog was called Nala, and Nala's owner was called Sandy. And here's a picture of them with me in that children's hospital. I expect you notice that Nala doesn't really look at all like Dot in my book, and Sandy doesn't really look like Dot's owner Rose. I did change their names and what they looked like, partly because, well, Dot rhymes with a lot more things than Nala. But I can tell you that the real hospital dog and her owner did really go swimming every day in the sea, even in the middle of winter. Well, now I'm really pleased to be handing you over to Sara Ogilvie, who's going to do some drawing for you.
Thanks, Julia. Hi everyone, my name's Sara and I'm the illustrator for The Hospital Dog. And today I'm going to show you how to draw Dot, who's the Dalmatian in the book. So grab some pencils and some paper and we'll get started. So I've got my piece of paper ready, and I've also got a 2B pencil that I'm going to be using. These 3 coloured pencils, some Indian ink, but you could use poster paint or just something dark that you can make the spots. So I've got a little kebab skewer, you could use a cocktail stick, some clean water, and you'll need a paintbrush. Okay, the first thing I like to do when I'm drawing Dot is the head, so let's start there. So I'm going to curve over the top, and we'll get a nice curved line that's going to be for her snout. And let's draw in her eye. She's looking upwards in this drawing. It's like she's getting ready to go out to see the children at the hospital. Now, because she enjoys her job so much as a therapy dog, I'm going to give her a nice friendly smile. And then one ear cocked up like that. And then another ear coming down like an upside down triangle there. Okay, so now we've got her expression and her head. I'm just going to pull this line down to give her a bit more neck, and then let's pop on her collar 2 curved lines there, and then she has a little tag that's also like an upside down triangle, like her ear. Let's just pull this line down a little bit more, and then we're going to make one big long line that comes right down like this along the top of her back, up a little bit from where her bottom is, and then we're just going to scoop and flick up the line there, so it's like a very shallow kind of W shape, and we'll come back to that in a minute. The next bit I'm going to do is her legs. So dogs' legs aren't that easy, so if you've got a dog, have a look at your dog's legs and see what they're doing. The bits on the back of the dog's legs are interesting. They have a little part there comes up, and then it's almost like an elbow where it joins onto the body, so a bit different than our elbows. And then let's have the next leg coming down, some paws, and up, and then joining onto the body. And then let's continue her tummy round with a little bit of a scoop. And these are probably the trickiest legs, the back legs. So these kind of come down like this, and then round like a shallow S shape. And then we're going to pull that round like that. So she's beginning to take shape. Let's do the other leg on the other side. Pause. There we go. There we go. How's that looking? Okay, don't worry if you make a mistake. Dogs' legs are tough. I think that one's gone a little bit odd, but we'll just go with that anyway. And let's just keep that going up there, and then let's just join that line up to join the end of the tail. Okay, I think we've got ourselves a dog. So I'm going to put in some lines to make her look really happy, wagging her tail, all excited about going to the hospital. Now a little bit shading, just lightly like that with your pencil, and that just makes those legs look a little bit further away, so there's a bit of space under her body. So I think we can add in some colour now. So let's start off with our collar. Collar's a nice turquoisey blue. There we go, maybe a little bit on there as well. Now the next colour I'm going to use is for her snout. Now she's a black and white dog, spotty dog, but you can on Dalmatians see little bits of pink peeking through their white fur sometimes, and they tend to be in certain places, so a little bit on the snout, sometimes in the edges of the ears, definitely pinky bits on the tummy, and then sometimes the odd little bit on the paws as well. Okay. Now, what have I forgotten? Ah yes, I forgot to draw in her therapy coat, so let's just pop that in. Now that's very important, because that shows what Dot does when she goes to the hospital, because she helps the children feel better. And then, because she's helping them, here's a little helping paw, little logo. I think I'll draw that in orange. Yeah, that's better. Now we know what she does. Okay, fun bit now. Let's add some water. So what I'm doing is I'm dipping my paintbrush in the water, just the water at this point, and I'm just going to lightly paint it on. You can't see anything at the moment. And then I'm going to take my cocktail stick or skewer, and I'm just going to go pop, pop. We have ourselves Dot from the hospital dog.